What's up, everybody? Today, we're going to talk about the proper intensity level and volume to lose body fat. Yesterday's video, we talked about the best type of cardiovascular activity. Is it walking? Is it jogging? Is it cycling? Is it rowing? Is it swimming? Is it step mill? Is it pre-core? Is it elliptical? Is it spin class? Is it hiking? Those are 10 basic options that many of you will employ or have access to. What we said yesterday was the best type, by far, leaps and bounds, the best type of physical activity, of cardiovascular activity for specific fat loss is the one you do most often, the one that is most convenient, the one that suits your lifestyle best. For many people, that's simply walking out their front door, 15 minutes, turn around, and come home. You don't have to drive to the gym. You don't have to take the subway. You don't have to bum a ride. Get your walk and come home. If it's too cold out, well, boo-hoo. I'd say put on your boots and hat and get out there anyway. But if it's really an issue, walk around your house nonstop for that period of time. Walk up and down the stairs if you absolutely have to. The point is, do what you have access to most often and is most convenient for you, which means you will do it constantly and you will be able to build upon that. I apologize for the sound outside. They're fixing the facade of the building. Brand new brick walls and siding and awnings and all these great things. New windows also. But it's a little loud and I can't tell the guys to stop because we're in here getting work done. Back to the point. The best intensity and volume. And when I say intensity and volume, there are two runaway types. It's either the high intensity training or it's the low intensity training. High intensity short intervals, low intensity moderate to long intervals. Give me an example, Dolce. High intensity interval training, getting on an airdyne and going as hard as you can for 10, 20, 30 seconds and taking equal time or greater to rest. Go as hard as you can for 10 seconds, take 20 seconds to just kind of cruise and go easy and recover. And then 10 more, boom, all out nonstop goes, and then 20 seconds to cruise. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Sometimes it's 10 seconds, 50 seconds. It all depends on you, what your goals are and what your training experience has. The other type is low intensity cardiovascular activity. That is simply going for a walk at an even pace, trying to not peak and recover our heart rate, trying to keep a nice even balance and cadence to our activity and to our heart rate. So if we're doing high intensity interval training, many times we're trying to peak our heart rate out as high as we can. 160, 165 or greater, depending on the individual. Individual capability must be understood. Consult with a doctor before starting any diet or exercise program. But peaking the heart rate and letting it recover is the basic concept of high-intensity interval training and high-intensity training. Typically, you ramp your heart rate up, but you have to allow time for it to recover because you cannot keep your heart rate at high periods, extendedly high periods for extended periods of time. It's very difficult, and all but the most elite athletes, Tour de France style athletes, can do that. Now, for you and I, the regular folk of the planet that aren't going to be getting into the peloton and grinding up 45-degree inclines at 8,000 feet for 4 hours nonstop, those of us who aren't going to do that simply want to lose body fat. And we want to be healthy, and we want to keep our hearts working, and we want to feel better. We want to improve our energy and our digestion. This is a fight. And anytime I talk about LISS, low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, I get people screaming and yelling about HIIT and about EPOC. What is EPOC? EPOC is excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. If you run your heart rate up really high, if you have high-intensity training sessions, typically short-duration, high-intensity training sessions, your body will require a greater amount of oxygen for an extended period of time post-workout. That will, in turn, burn a greater amount of calories. As many as 30% more calories can be burned throughout the day for 6, 12, 24 hours simply by ramping that heart rate nice and high for 10 to 30 minutes. That's a pretty good trade-off. That's awesome. And we love that. And although I talk about LISS being our most suggested form of fat loss specific cardiovascular exercise, also has a great impact on longevity, we also encourage through our education people to employ both. And this is the key. Now think, when you train with weights, you're essentially performing a HIIT style workout. I'm doing squats for 5, 10, 20 reps. My heart rate is peaking. I take 30 to 120 seconds off in between. My heart rate comes back down again. I'm playing soccer or basketball or racquetball or tennis or golf or whatever you might be doing, specific to you, whatever you might be doing. That's a form of HIIT. Many people do not employ low intensity cardiovascular activity, but that's what humans were designed for, to walk long distances at relatively slow to moderate paces. We do that really well. We do that better than nearly almost any other land animal. We're really good at that. We don't sprint faster, for sure. We don't sprint farther, for sure, but we can walk longer and farther than nearly any other land animal out there. Many humans, because of society and job and schedule and apathy, they forget that and they lose that. They lose that understanding of how the body was meant to work. It just so happens when we do what the body was intended and designed to do, the body responds very well. Very well. So, what is the best intensity and volume for cardiovascular activity with a target specific of fat loss? It's both. We prefer the low intensity training, 3-to-1. Every 3 days, I want you low intensity, medium to long duration. And then one day, we peak into a HIIT. That's 2 HIITs a week and 6 LISSes a week. Low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, high intensity interval training. And that can be specific to you, no matter where you're starting in life. We work with clients that have certain health issues or background issues or challenges. Them simply standing up out of their chair unassisted 10 times, that is a high five. Awesome, done job, hit the showers, workout done. Them simply walking to their corner and coming around and coming home, huge accomplishment. PRs, baby. So this is relative to you, and I want you to scale it from where you are right now. This is what's best. Watch yesterday's video on the best modality, the best type of cardio for fat loss. And now I'm telling you the proper intensity range or how to schedule and stack your day. There is no best, do one, never anything else. That doesn't make sense. And I won't be pigeonholed into that type of equation because that doesn't make sense. And I really don't like those questions. What's best for specific fat loss, targeted fat loss, while improving all aspects of longevity, improving energy, improving digestion, improving general feeling of well-being, improving emotional and psychological states, improving cognitive state? Walking. Just go for a walk. Just go for a walk, man. Just go for a walk, man. Really. That's it. 3-to-1 ratio works great for everybody. Everybody. Elite athlete to weekend wasteland. Just get out there, get moving. Try it. Now, those of us, maybe you're an intermediate to an advanced level trainee, so you fancy yourself, you've been training for, 2 years or more with a good amount of success. You know your way around the gym, and you've been pretty consistent. You've performed hundreds of workouts over the last couple years. I think that's a pretty good definition. We're starting to zero in more of how many workouts and of what intensity would actually classify you as a belt upgrade inside our training system. But that being said, you've had hundreds of workouts over the last couple years. You're pretty good at it. You know what you're doing, but you're in a plateau. You're in a rut. You do your cardio, you do your step mill, your elliptical, you do the whatever thing that you normally do. You're just not yielding any results. Well, what I want to do is shake you out of that box a little bit. And then tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about LISS, or fasted training, fasted cardio versus fed cardio. Which one of those is best or more ideal for your total fat loss? Today, it's volume intensity. So when we talk about volume intensity, and I'll finish with this, when we talk about LISS, low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, we're talking about 30 to 60 minutes or so on the average day. 30 to 60 minutes on the average day of steady state output, cardiovascular or aerobic centric output. Me, I like my LISS training to be between 90 and 110 beats per minute. I don't want my LISS, I don't need my LISS to be much higher, because when we get much higher, we are more prone to switching over and utilizing stored glycogen, carbohydrate, as glucose for energy. We want to try and use as much fat, stored fat, as possible during these low aerobic LISS sessions. 30 to 60 minutes at an even pace. Try and keep my heart rate around 100 or so, give or take. That's perfect for me. I have a resting heart rate in the low 50s. So I'm nearly doubling my resting heart rate, and that should be relative to you, the individual. When I run my HIIT, I try and get my heart rate above 165. I try and touch in the 170s, and I typically play. It's pretty easy for me to get my heart rate up that much. So I like that 168 to 175 range for me. I'm 42 years old, about 206 pounds, and I would consider myself as an advanced trainee. Now, I'll get my heart rate up there for anywhere between 10 seconds and 60 seconds or more, depending on what I'm doing. But on average, I like a 1-to-1 ratio of work to rest for me. That works great for me. The more novice you are, typically the greater your rest to work becomes. So let's say the more novice individual, I might have them go 5 seconds, and then relax. Easy pace for 55 seconds. And then maybe I'll go 10 seconds burst, 50 seconds relax, and 15 seconds burst, 45 seconds relax. And I'll slowly scale that anywhere between 10 to 20 total rotations, 10 to 20 minutes after a nice, easy warm up. And because I have an Airdyne air assault bike right here, that's what I like to do my LISS on, because I hate it. I hate that darn bike. I hate that darn bike. Not LISS, HIIT, sorry. That's what I perform my HIIT on, because I hate it. I hate it, and it helps bring out that primal mentality in me, and it becomes a fight. I also hate the VersaClimb machine. I'm going to get one of those in here because I hate it. I hate it, and I'm going to force myself to do it. I'll do another video on what I call Hell Day around here, too. Once the facility is finally completed, then I'll actually shoot some videos for you. So I'm going to wrap this video up right now for you guys. I hope it was helpful. Again, low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, high intensity interval training. Both are good. I would do that at a 3-to-1 ratio. For every 3 days of low intensity training, I want at least 1 day of a high intensity training session. Low intensity, 30 to 60 minutes with a heart rate somewhere around 100 beats per minute. Under your doctor's supervision, of course. High intensity interval training, I'm trying to peak it and recover. Get as high and low as I can in that period of time. And I scale that time based upon activity and personal ability. Tomorrow's video will be on fasted versus fed. I think that's a good one. Go back and watch yesterday's video on the best type of activity for fat loss. And you have any questions, leave your questions below. I want to hear what you have to say. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you are here and what you have to say. I want your personality, your thoughts to help shape this channel. I'm here for you guys. I'm answering your questions, and I appreciate you being here. Until next time, boom.